Thank you very much. Now, let me go to Bristol to Tony. Tony, let's look at the Russian side of the story. President Putin calling this a major military threat to Russia. So an arms race could be the name of the game, as we're talking about. And how is this going to make the world a better place? What about peace and security?
Well, it's certainly very important that Russia is able to counter the moves being made around the world by the United States. And Marcus is absolutely right. The US has made all the running in this. It's taken the initiative in this new Cold War, and they seem to be wanting to take on the world, don't they? They're going to take on the Chinese too, as if that's feasible. Now, look, let's just look at what happened here in the 1990s. There was the rape of Russia. The idea was, with these oligarchs who were trained in Switzerland, by the way, came over to Russia, and they wanted to sell off the entire country to the rest of the world's stock markets. The only thing, Putin, who turned up in 2000, wasn't part of the plan. And what he's done is he's turned the tables on the West, and he's turned Russia back into an independent nation, giving it back its dignity. And this is part of that. What's been going on with the missile defense system, Marcus is right about Poland, he's right about Romania, which is the latest one in this missile defense system, but there's also the Baltic states as well have also got this missile defense system, and it is laughable. Honestly, there should be a comedy show about this. The idea that America has got to defend itself by placing missiles in Latvia, Lithuania, Romania and Poland is beyond a joke. Of course they're not defensive. This is an offensive move. The chess pieces are being placed by the United States right next to the Russian border, and there's actually a history of this in Europe, because we've had many, many decades of the Americans trying to base nuclear weapons here in Britain and in other countries in Europe to then threaten the old Soviet Union with. And there was enormous trouble because of that, because everybody knows in Europe that this makes European nations, not America, the target for Russian nuclear weapons. And that, I'm afraid, is not happening very much now. The Americans tend to keep their weapons secret. For example, they still have some, I believe, in Turkey, but many European countries have told the Americans they've got to keep their nukes out of Europe as a result of all this. And so this is not going to go unnoticed. This is the closest we've come, I think, for many, many years to the real tensions building up. But look, what about the arms companies? They're fueling this. I noticed Lockheed has just employed someone especially to market the missile defense systems that they manufacture to Eastern Europe. So they're seeing this as some kind of sales trip, a bonanza for American business. And the Europeans and much of the rest of the world needs to take a close look at the way the arms industry seems to think that it can just drum up wars to benefit itself, because, of course, many people say, well, who benefits from a war? Nobody wants a war. The fact of the matter is the arms companies love wars. They want to create as many wars as they can to make as much money as possible.
Exactly, and President Trump is where money is. Thank you for that. Marcus Papadopoulos, editor of the Politics First, joined us from London, and Tony Gosling, investigative journalist, who joined us from Bristol. And that's the end of this edition of the News Review on Press TV.